Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, Critter Country is no more. A new kids ticket offer for 2025. Coco and Avatar changes.
The Jungle Cruise is back. A Disneyland Hotel lounge has a new name. We finish our conversation with Tonya and Amber and more. DL Weekly starts now.
This is your captain speaking to you from the wheelhouse. I'd like to welcome all of you aboard the DL Weekly podcast. For safe passage on our trip, please do not sit or climb on the outside railings. And be sure to watch your children. The water can be unpredictable in these parts, and we'd sure hate to lose any of you.
Hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of October 9th, 2024. I'm Teresa Urban.
And I'm Teg Bushman. We would like to send a thank you to everyone who supports the show. This week, we would like to give a special shout out to Jeanette S., who became a new weekly tier, and to Daniel M., Eric M., and Katie G. for continuing to support the show. If you would like to help support the show and get ad-free versions of each episode, access to our supporter-only chat, and a bunch of other perks, head on over to dlweekly.net/support and become an official weekly tier.
Now let's get to the news.
Extra, extra, read all about it. DL Weekly reports from intrepid correspondents Tag and Teresa. You heard it here first, ladies and gents. Breaking news!
Well, it's official. Critter Country is no more. Bayou Country is now the new name of the area with Tiana's Bayou Adventure and the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. The display on the balcony above the new Lewis's Critter Club has been redecorated to a dressing room with musical instruments and a fan mailbox. And again, Lewis's Critter Club is the name, the renamed store. All of it was Pooh's Corner. Now half of it is the Critter Club.
Yeah, so we kind of have been calling it Bayou Country for the last couple weeks here on this show because since they painted the sign on the building, I was like, well, that's what it is. We actually have some cast member folks that were telling us that in the scheduling system, it's not Critter Country anymore, it's Bayou Country. So all of that stuff is official.
Yes.
And, pretty soon, we're a little over a month away from Tiana's Bayou Adventure opening to the public. So this area will be Bayou Country officially for everything, and it'll make a little bit more sense then.
Well, and the other thing too is right now, because of the construction with Tiana's Bayou Adventure, where the sign that used to say Critter Country was, that is all behind construction walls right now. So There is an official, it's official, like Tag said, on the back of house stuff. The Mark Twain has been saying Bayou Country for a little while now, but the big thing is there is now an actual sign that says "Welcome to Bayou Country" back in that area now. So we feel like, right, it's official, especially since cast members have flipped over officially. We're flipping over officially.
Yeah, just getting closer and closer. It felt like it was going to take so long to get here, and then all of a sudden, we're here.
I know.
So, well, weekly tiers who will be traveling to Disneyland with kids in early 2025 should take advantage of a new ticket offer. Children ages 3 through 9 can get a ticket for as low as $50 for a one-day, one-park ticket from visits from January 7th through March 20th of 2025. This deal goes on sale October 22nd. Of course, you can reach out to our friends over at Concierge, and they can also get this booked up for you as well.
The other thing, too, we don't have official, there's no pricing or dates on when this is going to happen, but it has been announced that there will be a special ticket deal for Disney Plus subscribers later on in this year. Again, we don't have any details of what the ticket pricings will be, what dates they're going to be good for, or what types of tickets it will be. But keep your ears peeled if you're planning a resort visit sometime soon, because there are several deals going on right now.
It's a multi-day Disneyland Resort ticket offer for Disney Plus people, so that'll be exciting because obviously this is a great way to use the synergy of Disney to not only encourage people to stay subscribed to Disney Plus, but then also go visit the theme park. So they kind of work together. And we have other things, right? You got the Disney Visa card, which you can get discounts on, Magic Key holders. So anything that Disney can kind of leverage to kind of make people stay subscribed to all these things, why not? So $50 a day for a kid, great deal.
That is a great deal. Well, some good news for those of you who weren't very excited about Avatar coming into the Hollywood Pictures backlot area. MiceChat is reporting that locations for the new Coco and Avatar projects have been in flux. After studying the crowd flow on Pixar Pier, there may not be enough room for an extended queue where the planned Coco attraction would have been located. It was suggested to possibly move the Coco attraction to Hollywoodland, which would allow for Monsters, Inc. to be saved, as Coco would move into Hollywoodland and the Hollywood and Dine location. This leaves the Avatar project without a home for now. This makes so much sense. Sorry.
You have been against this. You have been against the original planning since the beginning.
I understood Coco. I'll be clear. I was not against Coco popping up over on Pixar Pier, but I was not a fan of Avatar taking over the Hollywood backlot area.
I think that they should save Avatar for whatever they're going to expand into the Disneyland Forward 100%. Project thing. I did like the idea MiceChat mentioned that if they do move Coco into the Hollywood Pictures backlot area, that would allow the attractions that are currently there to stay, which would mean that more attractions in DCA, which is always needed. So it seems like I also kind of wonder, not only did they look and go oh, well, maybe the crowds will be terrible here, but also just listening to people online who were very upset about, oh, it shouldn't go here and it should go there and whatever. I wonder if they kind of also was well, not only is it bad for crowds, but also people seem to they kind of don't like this maybe over there. Disney's always listening. I think they're always looking at fan stuff. I don't know if they're listening to our podcast per se, but I'm sure that they're reading blogs and looking at YouTube, and I'm sure they're listening to podcasts too. And listening to what kind of the vibe is with people. So, I don't know. I think Coco really fits in that corner of the park where they originally planned it really well. Somebody in one of the comments of the MiceChat article said that they thought that it would make more sense to get rid of some of the dining in the Paradise Gardens park and put it over there, which I can kind of agree with as well, that there is more room over there if you wanted to do some queue space. And I feel like that thematically, because we already have a bunch of Coco stuff there, that kind of fits better than putting it over in Hollywoodland, because that seems like a weirder place for it. But Avatar, I agree with you. I don't know, put it over the new thing.
But think of this. What does Hollywoodland have? Hollywoodland has a stage. So you could shift.
Monsters, Inc.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying for the different Coco theme,
sure.
The street show that they're doing currently right now, that could get shifted and be performed on the stage with seating instead of kind of taking over that big main walkway. They could do a Coco
show in the Hyperion.
They could do a Coco show in the Hyperion.
What? Somebody's saying something.
But yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense back there, and it still works. That would definitely breathe more life into the backlot area, because it is lacking. It's been lacking for a little while now. But then also Monsters, Inc. is...
it would also save the Animation Academy.
Yeah, it would also save the Animation Academy, which, that's priority number one, let's be honest. That was never not good. There's no way. Come on. There's no way that they were going to get... There's no way.
If they built Avatar there, that probably would have gone away.
No way. I'm not believing it. There would have been riots.
There would have been
protests.
You could pry the Animation Academy out of my cold, dead hands, Disney.
Well, it's so popular. Why would you do that? It's so popular. Anyways.
If anything, they need to build a bigger venue for it.
They need, multiple studios.
That's a great idea. Because then you go in and you're like, well, I don't want to draw Mickey Mouse. Yeah. But I could draw Miguel.
Or you could have one in both parks. You could have one in Disneyland and one in DCA.
Where would you put it in Disneyland?
I don't know. I'd find space.
Okay.
I would find...
Put it in the Star Wars launch bay.
There's plenty of space.
Doesn't fit in Tomorrowland, but that's okay.
We'll just draw futuristic things. But the other thing that MiceChat hinted that this might also save, which is huge, wonderful news if it does come to fruition, is the red car trolley.
Yes. Yeah.
Because there would be a chance to possibly to have the red car trolley continue, because it's not going into, it's not driving into Pandora or driving into the Avengers campus area. It would still kind of work. So I think there's a
lot of upside.
There's a lot of upside, and there's a lot of space for them to also fill in more stuff, because the 5 and Dine location is just one of the big empty spots in the Hollywood backlot. So this also opens the door to do probably a third attraction, maybe a third attraction. I don't know. Possibly another
You mean the
attraction.
Hollywood and Dine place. You said the
Yeah.
Five and Dime, and I was thinking of the musical
sorry.
performance. No,
Hollywood
okay.
and Dine.
It took me a minute to figure out
Which,
what you were
for
saying.
those of you like me that get confused as to what these buildings had been at some point, because it's been a very long time since it was these buildings. If you're looking at Monsters, Inc., it was the big building to the right, correct? Or was it the one that the Avengers... Because I don't think it's the one that the Avengers campus...
Yeah, it was the one to the right
because
because in there was a bunch of like restaurants.
Yeah.
And they turned it into like a frozen ice
like,
thing for a
experience,
while.
yep.
And then the other one that used to be Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Play It was what was most recently the Avengers store.
The store. So the last thing that I can remember kind of that Hollywood and Dine location being used for was Captain Marvel's ship was like poking out the front. It looked like a hangar.
Right, but that's not using the space. That's just the front.
But that's like the most recent thing that it's been used as a backdrop because that's where they had the Pixar shorts playing. But as far as
they need to do something with that corner of the park.
Yeah.
And DCA desperately needs more attractions.
Well, but the stage, like I think this brings up opportunities for the stage because then you could have, like I said, the little like the Coco show could be on the stage instead of taking over the street.
I would be much happier if they just got rid of that stage, but put something in the Hyperion.
Well, I mean, I want both.
Okay.
Let's have entertainment at both.
Well, the Jungle Cruise has returned from its 2-week refurbishment. We had hoped that the Tiger's stone surroundings would have returned, but they have not. However, there are still some scaffolding and stuff over there, so they're probably still working on it. However, both African bull elephants are back. The piranhas are functional again, and everything overall looks like it's in good shape. I do want to mention there was something I saw online this week that was saying that one of the helicopters that were bringing the elephant in had a fuel leak. And so if you were in the park last week before rope drop, there was a chopper that was really low and like right over the Plaza Inn and stuff, and people were wondering what it was. It had a fuel leak and was trying to land. And it was right when the park opened. And parts of the park were closed off, and Custodio had to come in and like clean, like do some stuff because of whatever.
That's what that was.
So,
okay, because I thought there was like a hydro. There was some sort of like
that was a different.
That was a different thing.
There
was
two things now. Yeah,
lots of leaky things.
Yeah. So the other one, there was like a video, and people were like freaking out. They were like, "Why? What's going on with this helicopter?" And it was on Reddit, and where I saw it. And there was a couple cast members that came in and said, "Oh yeah, they had dropped off the elephant, or were going to drop off the elephant or something, and it sprung a leak and had to make an emergency landing, and then they had to clean up some of that."
Well, I'm glad everyone was safe.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But that's tangentially related to the Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, it is.
When last time we rode the Jungle Cruise, it did need a little bit of help.
It did need some TLC. Those poor piranhas have been needed some help for a while. They looked great. Fresh Bake shared a video on Instagram. And the piranhas looked really good because the other thing that always kind of bothered, I know this is very like me being like very, I don't know, nitpicky. Is like they would, right? They do their spinny thing, but then a lot of times they'd stop and like still.
Oh, they'd be floating in the air?
Yeah. Out of the water. It looks like at least the time that Fresh Baked went through and videoed it did that slightly, but then it like fixed itself. So then they went back underwater. I was like, oh, I didn't realize that they would do that. Maybe it was just a fluke that they all happened to go back underwater the time that they were filming it. But yeah, they looked really good. The one thing, though, I do want to say about the tiger scene, it does look like work is still going on this. Yeah. I don't think this is just a Band-Aid. I think it's just a big job, and they've got a lot of stuff down right now. So it's really difficult for them to have this down probably the length of time that it truly needs to be. So my sneaky suspicion here was there was a lot of big stuff that they needed to kind of do first before they could continue working on it. So I think probably maintenance is still working on it, maybe on the overnight stuff and whatnot. But it did seem like they had to shut down because they had like a bridge built across the river for stuff that they were doing with the tiger scene to kind of help.
What I'm curious about with Disneyland construction in general is people listening are going to have no idea what I'm talking about, but Teresa, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay. We can kind of describe it. There is a gas station chain in our area that's really well known, and they are building a new location that we drive by to go to our respective jobs.
Yeah.
And that building has flown up and should be like it's been like 2 weeks, and it went from nothing to the building was there.
Yeah.
And I look at things like the carriage house at the Haunted Mansion, and I'm like, why is this taking so long to build this little shop? Why is the queue taking so long at the Haunted Mansion? Like, I understand like the elevator stuff might take a long time, but like, what is taking so long for this like outdoor queue space, looking at the stuff with the Jungle Cruise, like what's taking so long for them to put some pillars back? Like it doesn't, on the face of it, it doesn't seem like it should be that complicated of a thing. So I'm curious, Disney takes a long time for things. How long was the City Hall behind Scrim when it got painted? Like what takes so long to paint the building? Like weeks and weeks. Like, so I'm just curious, like, what takes so long? Yeah.
Is this a residual of when the park was shut down and the workforce was really scaled back? Do they still just, I kind of think that might be part of it. I think
they just don't have enough people.
I think the maintenance crew is not as large of a crew as it had been. And I think a lot of expertise might not be there anymore. I think you probably have smaller crews that are, more fresh or more green. So I think there's a few things working against, which kudos to the maintenance people, because holy buckets, I can't even imagine trying to keep this stuff going and going and going. Because I mean, that's what it does. It's things that just are moving and doing stuff constantly. So that is a lot of wear and tear on things. Plus you've got elements and water and all sorts of different things that you have to like try and accommodate for. It's a very unique thing, I'm sure, to design and maintain theme parks for the longevity of everything. So,
well, I just think of things like they use fire hoses around the parks like every night to like wash the grounds, and I'm just thinking like, how do the bases of everything not just get worn away so quick? Because like pressurized water will take all types of stuff off.
Yeah,
water gets everywhere.
It's definitely different. That's for sure. Well, the lounge in the Disneyland Hotel's Fantasyland Tower has a new name. The Broken Spell Lounge is located next to Goofy's Kitchen and has a darker vibe with forest accents and dark colors. Disney did not actually announce the name change or put up a new sign, but they did update the navigational signage around the hotel. Navigational signage is where you're seeing it's like, here, go this way.
Yeah, this way to that tower, this way to Trader Sam's, but not like the sign for the actual location.
Yeah.
This is interesting because when we were there, we didn't even go look at the lounge, which I think it was open when we were there. I
feel terrible. I kind of had forgotten about it.
Yeah. One of these days, we also need to eat at Goofy's Kitchen because we have not done that either.
Do.
But yeah, so the Broken Spell Lounge, I thought it was kind of a cool name. The vibe is interesting. I wonder if they'll ever actually put like an actual sign that says that outside of it.
Well, and I'm kind of wondering, like, Broken Spell makes me think of like the villains. So is this a subtle little nod to Disney villains?
Like a villain lounge without being a villain lounge? Maybe.
I don't know. It looks nice, though.
Yeah. While you're stepping into the Market House on Main Street for a morning beverage, be sure to pick up the newest sweet creation. The S'mores Cake Donut has arrived and is made of graham cracker cake donut, a chocolate ganache, and topped with a toasted marshmallow.
This looks crazy. It looks intense. First of all, I'm not sure, like it looks really tall, so I'm not entirely sure
how you're supposed to eat it.
One takes a full bite of this. I would probably recommend a fork and knife, but yum. What a fun themed treat for the holidays. I did think it was fun that Mice Chat was like, is this intentional? Because there was this really fun treat over at Universal that was going along with their Halloween Horror Nights, and it was a State Puff Marshmallow Man s'more. Oh, yeah. But the marshmallow was shaped like a State Puff Marshmallow Man, which I think is
cute,
freaking adorable. But we're not talking about that park. So
this isn't Universal Weekly.
Yeah, this is not. But Mice Chat was wondering, like, did they, did Disney gain a little inspiration from the popularity of that s'mores treat? Perhaps, but it's different, right? Because it's on a donut with chocolate ganache. It's like a fancy upscale breakfast version of a s'more. It looks good.
It looks good, but again, it looks sweet. Like, I don't know if I could eat a whole one.
No, and I don't know. And me personally, I don't think I could eat this for breakfast. With the photo, though, the thing that strikes me is the donut itself looks almost like, it reminds me of, it looks more cakey.
Like a sponge cake.
Yeah, like a sponge cake. It's making me think of those little dessert cups that you get at the supermarket and you put like strawberries in.
Oh, yeah.
Like those, it reminds me of, it looks like that to me. I don't know if that's what if it just looks that way or if it actually tastes that way.
Yeah, the little shortcake things that you put strawberries on. Yeah,
shortbread cake things.
Yeah. Looks good.
It does look very tasty.
But see, when I make s'mores, I do like a half of a marshmallow because I'm not the biggest marshmallow fan.
Sure.
This is it's almost a 1-to-1 ratio of marshmallow to donut.
Yeah, it's a lot
so
of
I'd have to do less than that. But, I'm glad that they're still coming up with new things.
Me
and
too.
I don't know if there's been a new thing at the market house other than like the gingerbread cookies every Christmas.
You're right. Nothing that comes to mind off the top of my head.
Busy
lots
enough
of
as
merch.
it is.
There's lots of merch that circles through there with the different seasons. But yeah, I can't think of a food item. Well, speaking of food, a new Disney Parks cookbook has gone on sale, and to celebrate, Disney has posted the recipe for the Celebration Chocolate Fudge Brownies. These brownies were available back at the 2023 Disney California Adventure Food and Wine Festival. The recipe has just a few ingredients and looks fun for the whole family to create and eat. They look so ooey gooey.
They do look good. They look very rich. And spoiler alert to people listening to the podcast, producer Vern made brownies tonight, so I already had brownies.
So funny.
So I'm looking at this going, I can't eat any more chocolate anything.
We didn't even,
but it does look good.
That was kind of a funny, we didn't even mean for that to be.
Sure.
It just was. Yeah, the thing that's...
He could have made these.
He could have. The thing that's fun, though, is, there's multiple official Disney cookbooks out there now, but this cookbook is like all about like festival recipes and stuff. So it says it's 101 festival recipes from the delicious Disney vault. I'm assuming obviously we've got Disney California Adventures festivals in there. I'm sure we've got Epcot food festival dishes in there. So it looks like a ton of fun. There was a panel on that was featuring and talking about this cookbook back at D23. We were not able to we did not go to that panel. But yeah, I think this sounds really, really fun, especially if you're a festival food, like a Disney festival foodie. I bet a lot of your favorites are in here now. You can make them at home.
Well, let me just read to you. I'm pulling up the Amazon list here. So the chapters are Chapter 1, Epcot International Festival of the Arts. Chapter 2 is the Disney California Adventure Food and Wine Festival. Chapter 3 is the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival. Chapter 4 is the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival. And Chapter 5 is Holiday Magic at the Disneyland and Walt Disney World Resorts.
There we go.
So there are about 222 full pages of different recipes and stuff to be had with a couple of chapters. Man, so Epcot and Disney California Adventure are kind of the two big places to have a lot of this stuff. So
that's where all the festivals are happening.
And they've got lots of pictures because I like to eat with my eyes. I like to see what it looks like before I try to make it. Ooh, classic potato latkes.
Yum, yum, yum. Look, the guava melon lassi. We had that was it the Festival of the Holidays? Yes, it was.
Look at that.
We have that. We tried that at Disneyland.
So you can order this book if you want on Amazon. It's only $17.99.
Amazon, I'm sure it's on Shop Disney.
Oh, I'm sure. Anyway.
Check out your local library.
And make some brownies.
They might even have it.
Yeah. Well, for the select few who will be taking a VIP tour, if you've already taken one, this story does not apply to you, sadly, there are some new exclusive items. A new line of VIP tour merchandise featuring the iconic plaid design is available to guests taking a VIP tour. The new items can only be purchased the day of the tour and are limited to one of each item per guest. There is a Spirit jersey, pin and keychain set, lanyard, ornament, Loungefly mini backpack, and of course, an ear headband.
And I will mention, it does appear that the ear headband has a removable bow.
Yes.
So that was a very smart. I need to just say this. I first saw this on Instagram. Our friend Philander shared photos of this merchandise and gorgeous. Whoever designed the merchandise line, I think did a really, really nice job. I love these ears. I don't know what it is about them. I don't know if it's the iconic plaid, if it's the black bow, the silver glistening Mickey in the middle of, I don't know what it is. I just love it. I love it. But I think it's probably the plaid because, right, especially us Disney park fans, we know that the plaid is like special and the plaid is important. So I think to see a merch line from Disney with that iconic plaid is just very, very special.
I can't believe they haven't done this before.
Yeah. So I like the Spirit jersey. I think they did a nice job with the Spirit jersey as well. I'm not a big Loungefly person myself. And there's a pin set, an ornament. I think they did a really nice job. It looks elevated, but it doesn't look like too fancy, if that makes sense.
Now, it looks like this is this in City Hall?
I'm not
that
sure
this display is set up, because it is in a place the guests can get to, because there's a sign next to it that says like this is exclusive to a VIP.
Yeah.
And there's a QR code to like book your VIP tour.
Yeah, it's probably, I would say maybe in City Hall. There is a couple of, and it looks like they have the pricing on some of the items. So it looks like the lounge fly is $105 and the ears are $50, which honestly,
not bad for how cool the ears are.
Not bad. Yeah, but like,
well, once you spent
the pin set's
$5,000 or $6,000 on a tour,
the pin set is $160 and the ornament is $45. So I don't think, for the ears, to me, I think are actually quite reasonably priced when you consider purchasing an ear headband in the store, like World of Disney or wherever. Like they're usually like $35 is the low end of what an ear headband is. So the special one for $50 is actually not atrocious when you think of what the quote unquote normal price for ears is at the resort now.
This reminds me of when you were shopping at Club 33 and you were surprised that the Club 33
and I was
ears
like
were normal
sitting there
price.
Justifying pricing of Club 33 merch to myself.
Well, the ears were normal price because you were like, I thought these would be so much more expensive.
I really felt and thought that these things probably were very inflated as far as pricing goes. So it's nice to know that that's not always the case.
Yeah.
But I think it's gorgeous. So Tag, we were very fortunate and were able to take a VIP tour last year. If these items would have been available when we took our tour, would you have purchased any of these items? And if so, which items would you have gone home with?
The ears and the pin set.
You would have gotten the ears.
Yeah, because you can have them without the bow.
I know, but you are like not an... I'm like floored.
I would probably have more ears if they didn't have the bow all the time.
But you like the headband sets, huh?
I would wear I like the design of these.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I wish they would have, but they never will because it'll look too close to being a cast member, I would buy a vest.
Yeah, I was going to say, you'd go for the vest.
I would totally go for the vest. I don't like Spirit jerseys. The Spirit jerseys is kind of cool looking.
I like how they did it with the inverse.
Yeah.
How they highlight, it's a black Spirit jersey. Disneyland is in the plaid, but then they have black kind of over it. So it's almost like the plaid is the outline.
Yeah, I like that. What about you?
It's a little more subtle. And I also like the VIP flag looking
on the front
emblem on the front.
What would you pick?
The ears, 100%.
Just the ears?
The ears, maybe the ornament, because Vern and I have gotten into doing special Disney ear ornaments for things. So like when we went on our first Disney cruise, we got one of the ear ornaments to add to our tree. And as much as I love that Spirit jersey, I think I would buy it, but I would feel like it's too special and I would never wear it and it would just live in my closet. So
that's the most Teresa answer.
Yeah. The pins are a little difficult for me because one of the things, you do get a VIP tour pin as included in your tour. And to me, that is like super, super duper special. So I'm not as drawn to the pins because to me, the ultimate pin is the pin that your guide gifts you at the end of your tour.
Sure.
It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So if you are very fortunate and very lucky and have a VIP tour upcoming at some point, check out the merch. When the holidays arrive at the resort, a popular tradition will return to downtown Disney. The Holiday Gingerbread Workshop has guests of all ages build and decorate a gingerbread house at the Jazz Kitchen Coastal Grill and Patio. The event is $35 per person and includes unlimited hot chocolate, one assorted mini dessert plate, and a digital photo with Santa. The gingerbread house is an additional $56 per house with one house per group required, which includes a bag of assorted candies and icing for decorating, plus a limited edition 2024 Jazz Kitchen ornament. The event takes place on December 8th, 14th, and 15th from 12 to 2 p.m. Tickets go on sale November 6th at 11 a.m. Disneyland time.
So this is pretty cool. Okay, so as I was reading this, the event was $35. I'm like, that's super cheap for all of this. And then it's like, and $56 for the house. I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. Not as cheap. But you only need to get one house for your group, and then your group can get the $35 to get the hot chocolate, the mini dessert plate, and a digital photo with Santa. I don't know. I think that could be kind of fun. I don't remember what this looked like last year, like what the gingerbread house that you built looked like.
Like if it's just a traditional gingerbread house or if it's been Disneyed up.
My chat has the picture of the gingerbread house in the Grand California lobby. That is not the gingerbread house that you're building.
What would be so cool? Maybe someone is listening and this could come to be at some point, is if you could do a gingerbread decorating class with the people that make the gingerbreads.
Oh, sure.
Would that not be cool to do that with that specific culinary team?
That would be
maybe
cool.
Each year you could build your own miniature version or something representing the Haunted Mansion holiday gingerbread house I would do that. I would 100% do that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'd be really cool.
Kind of like how they do the mixology classes at Trader Sam's. You're learning from the people that are slinging and mixing the drinks that you enjoy so much. So it'd be cool to learn from the people who are creating these beautiful edible works of art that we all enjoy around the resort.
That would be fun, I think, for sure.
I would be more apt to pay $56 for a gingerbread house kit if it was with them.
Well, it would be like $100.
No, I know.
Yes.
To me, this seems a little overpriced, which I know I sound very redundant since we were just talking about expensive VIP merch. And just talking about VIP tours in general is crazy because a VIP tour is very, very costly. Again, we were insanely fortunate. Shout out to our fairy godparents that helped create some Disney magic for Tag, myself, Vern, and James, and we were able to go on a VIP Disney tour. But that's not something that the average guest may ever get to experience. Yeah. It's definitely a bucket list Disney thing, especially for us crazy Disney fans. But yeah, so I feel like a crazy person that we just went from one story of a very pricey, expensive things. We're like, oh, that's not bad for those ears.
Well, it all depends, right? I was just talking about this on the hub crawl that we just recorded last week, which is we're talking about what do we think is something that Disney charges for that you think is a good value. And I said, I actually think the park tickets are a good value because, I don't know if you want to share, but James and I went and saw Moulin Rouge, and we paid like $300 and something for the two of us to watch a 3-hour Broadway production. Where Disneyland tickets, if we were to buy even at the highest rate, let's say it's $190 a person
for a day,
and for both of us, that's $400. Mm-hmm. But you get a whole day, at least 12 hours of entertainment, so it's a good price. So sometimes I look at these things like a Disneyland ticket or some things that we think about that cost a lot of money, and we're like, that seems really steep. But then you're like, yeah, but it's kind of weird how our minds work, right? Like I'll go eat sushi and drop $30 to $60 at a sushi place and be like, well, that was good. Well, literally I just ate $60 and it's gone. Mm-hmm. As opposed to sometimes I'll look at something at the store, like a mug or something, and I'll be like, well, I'm not going to spend $20 on this mug that I would literally get to keep for years. Do you know what I mean?
It's all about what's important to you.
How our brain will look at some things and be like, that's too expensive, and look at other things and be like, that's not as expensive, even though, it's very weird. Anyway, sorry for going off on a tangent, but you were just talking about going from the VIP to the other thing, and it's just one of those interesting things.
Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Shopify is there to help you grow. Shopify helps you sell everywhere, from their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system. Shopify's got you covered. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout, 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms, and sell more with less effort thanks to Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. What I love about Shopify is how no matter how big you want to grow, Shopify gives you everything you need to take control and take your business to the next level. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., and Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's award-winning help is there to support your success every step of the way. Because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
We have to get the snacks for Tag and Teresa and James and Bern. Oh, and Cinderella. Time for SnackChat.
Well, this week for SnackChat, we are still making our way around the resort. And I assume that the holiday foodie guide will be coming around at some point, right? Like,
so it's got to be sometime soon. Yeah.
But the Red Rose Tavern is the next, because last week we talked about the Rancho del Zocalo. So we're going to go to the Red Rose Tavern. What is at the Red Rose Tavern?
So Red Rose Tavern is one of the few places in Disneyland that is open for breakfast. So we're going to start there with breakfast.
With an asterisk. It doesn't open with the park.
Yes, it does not open with the park. It does open an hour later. We learned that on our last trip. We were a little disappointed, but we managed. Instead of rope dropping breakfast, we rope drop Casey Jr. It's fine. So some of your breakfast selections over at the Red Rose are the gourmet breakfast sandwich, which is an herb blend and creme fraiche egg maple butter spread, Munster and crispy bacon on a brioche-style bun served with tavern potato bites, a.k.a. tater tots. But they're delicious.
I don't think... Why have I not ordered this? This sounds good.
I don't know. They had this the last time we were there, and I felt that was where you were going to go, but you didn't go there.
No, because I went with the Royal Chiffon Pancake, which is served with a guava strawberry sauce and a choice of bacon sausage or tavern potato bites.
The Royal Chiffon Pancake is what we both got. I really enjoyed this.
Me too.
I will say up front right now, you've probably learned this when we talk about breakfast items. I'm not a breakfast person.
Me either, really.
I don't like... Eggs are not my thing. And sometimes these sugar... it's either like eggs or sugar, I feel. There's not too many in-between things for breakfast options. So... I was a little nervous, but pancakes, you can control the sugar, right? The thing that got me was, what is this guava strawberry? I was so excited about the guava strawberry sauce instead of just a traditional syrup, and it did not disappoint. It was really, really delicious. Really good.
Yeah, I totally agree. The sauce with it was great. The last thing they have is a bonjour breakfast, which is scrambled eggs served with tavern potato bites, bacon, and sausage. And then, of course...
Oh, and then
I've heard good things about this.
The plant-based option is the Little Town Harvest Bowl. It is made with quinoa, roasted mushrooms, and cauliflower, arugula, tomato, tavern potato bites with a spicy lime aioli. Ooh.
I've heard good things about this. How come you didn't order that when we were there? Because you were all about the chef. Oh, yes.
Because of the mushrooms.
You can get a side of the tavern potato bites if you would like. Also, they have a platinum purple poison apple mug that is served with a tavern potato bites at the time of purchase. So that's kind of interesting.
Some of the beverages that they have, of course, we've got fun things like assorted fountain beverages, coffee hot cocoa, apple juice, tea, milk, orange juice. But they also have a tavern cold brew that is on the permanent menu. The tavern cold brew is caramel, vanilla, and cinnamon cold brew with cream. This is a very good middle of the road cold brew at the Disneyland Resort. It is not one of my favorite cold brews, nor is it one of the ones I've had that is my least favorite. It's just kind of a middle of the road. It's just kind of, I don't want to say boring or generic, but there's ones that are a little more exciting, if that makes sense. And one that's a little bit more exciting that is on the menu currently because of it being Halloween time is the Pumpkin Cheesecake Tavern Cold Brew. So this is made with caramel, vanilla, and cinnamon cold brew, but it's got a pumpkin cheesecake topper instead of just with cream. So basically, it's the tavern cold brew pumpkined up.
Sure. It's like a pumpkin spice tavern cold brew.
Yep.
So that's all the breakfast stuff. For lunch and dinner, they have an autumnal harvest flatbread, which is roasted butternut squash, roasted mushrooms, feta, garlic, miso sauce, and fried sage. I've never had this, but that actually sounds really good.
I don't know if this is seasonal or if... Yeah, I think this is seasonal because there's also a spiky...
This is just under the featured selections.
I know, but there's also a spicy chicken cordon bleu.
Well, that's true. Okay, fine. What's that?
I would say the cordon bleu is seasonal.
Well, yes.
But it's a fried chicken fillet seasoned with 4 chili spice, pickle aioli, pickled chips, prosciutto, and Swiss cheese on a toasted brioche-style bun, and it's served with either cuties or tavern potato bites.
So I'm not going to go into all the details of the next couple things because basically it's a bacon burger, like a bacon cheeseburger, and a regular cheeseburger.
There's also les tenders de poulet, otherwise known as chicken tenders.
Yeah. They do have a pepperoni flatbread and a cheese flatbread.
Mm-hmm. And why did I not know about this? There's a tavern chopped salad. We're going to go into detail here. Chopped romaine with mixed greens, capicolo, rosemary ham, Munster, olive tapenade, and croutons, crumble with a creamy Italian dressing. That sounds like an Italian sub in a bowl.
That does sound good. For kids menu, they've got chicken tenders, of course, you can get with the cuties, and a yogurt smoothie with the choice of a small beverage, and then all the coffees and cold brews and everything, like you said before. So this is a good location. I feel like I forget about this place for some reason, probably because I'm always distracted by the cart across the street that has the pickles.
It could be. I would say Red Rose Tavern's a good place to go, especially if you have picky eaters, since it does have just some burgers and chicken tenders here. But then there's also some things that are a little bit more adventurous for others to try. I do want to say a drink that we missed, and I apologize that we missed it. They have the Red Rose Lemonade, which is seasonal, but it's strawberry lemonade with a touch of rose water, garnished with a rose petal. How in theme for this location?
Oh, very in themed.
And this is also the location that you can get the now famous gray stuff, because it's delicious.
It is delicious. I will say that I wish that they would. It seems like it always has something inside of it,
does,
and I wish it didn't have something inside of it.
You just want the fluff.
I just want the fluff, because that is the gray stuff.
Well, it's that time again for our friend Eric over at Concierge to catch us up on other Disney news.
Hello, everyone. This is Eric Johnson with Concierge, and welcome to the D180. While Teg and Teresa cover all things Disneyland in the D180, we take a spin around the rest of the Disney universe, and we do it in 180 seconds, so let's jump right in. We begin our journey this week close to home. Well, not my home, but the home you're here to listen about. Yeah, I'm actually talking about Disneyland. Whoa. Huh. Wow. All right, I'll make it quick. Up to 15% off of rooms from Sunday through Thursday, most weeks until December 19th. Your favorite concierge is staring at their phone right now, waiting for you to call. That's 856 our ears, but you knew that already, didn't you, you savvy Disney fan, you? Hey, and while you're saving, why not head to Oahu, home of Disney's Aulani Resort and Spa? From January into April 2025, you can get up to 25% off of your stay of 5 nights or more. Or, if you want to stay a little less, 20% off of a stay of 4 nights. If you haven't ever visited Aulani, now is the time. This Joe Rohde developed property is a cruise ship on land, I swear. My lone visit to this place was for sure one of the most relaxing vacations I have ever taken in my life. My wife and I spent 2 whole days on the resort before we explored the rest this island had to offer. Shout out to the folks at Off the Hook, our favorite haunt on property. Seriously, listeners, Aulani is poised on one of the most pristine stretches of beach in all of Hawaii, a state that is literally known for its beaches. And there are so many places to visit in the resort itself. Anyway, it's cheaper to go there now in the upcoming late winter and early spring. So call us, won't you? 856 our ears. Hey now, Walt Disney World. That's a fun place to visit, right? We love our Disney snacks and food around here, so let's take a look at the recently announced food guide for Jollywood Nights at Hollywood Studios. Disney, you're not playing fair. I am serious. An Agent P croissant might not have a lot to do with the character, but it is a waffle croissant dipped in caramel and chocolate with mint cream. I guess the candy hat kind of makes up for the theme, but I want to eat this. Are you feeling the autumnal spirit? Grab a holiday turkey popover at Fairfax Fair. Turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, cranberry chutney. Come on, wait. The hilariously named Just the Sides popover is an alternative. It's filled with mac and cheese with collard greens and cornbread crumbs. Why do we need this? It's just because. The event has so many new snacks and drinks that I can't possibly cover all of them in this tiny segment that always goes over time. This is the second year Disney has tried this event, and it sounds like they learned a lot from last year. Our lesson, your lesson. Homework, people. Get your snacks, people. Holy cow. There are so many options that you should be trying. I'm scheduling a trip myself. Which concierge will I work with? Guess we'll find out. I hope you enjoyed our quick spin around the rest of the Disney universe. If you'd like to learn more about these Disney adventures, or you just have a few questions, please come on over. Visit the social media and websites of both DL Weekly and us. They're official travel planners, concierge. That's concierge with an ears. We look forward to planning something special for you and yours. I'm Eric Johnson, and this has been your D180.
Thanks, Eric.
DL Weekly announces the boarding of the Trivia Express, non-stop star speeder service to the moon of Endor. All passengers, please prepare for immediate boarding.
Welcome to Trivia Land, where we've got some great listener-submitted questions all lined up for you. 4 regular round questions and 1 bonus question. Are you ready for this?
I think so.
Ready as we're going to be. I need to, before we get into too deep into Trivia Land. 2 weeks ago when we were in Trivia Land with you, we were talking about topiaries around the Disneyland Resort. I tried and tried. I guess the only thing I haven't done is tried to do like a Google map walk around of Disneyland Park to find where all of them are. I don't know where they all are. So I feel like we need to ask the weekly tiers for some help.
Stacia S. did send in a follow-up email and said that, hi, I'm the one that submitted the question about topiaries at Disneyland. I did some more research, and it's only animals and character topiaries. 25 total, 23 in Disneyland, 1 in DCA, 3 at the Disneyland Hotel. So
I know that the Disneyland Hotel has Mickey, Minnie, and Pluto topiaries. They're all out kind of by the pool area. DCA, I think there is tires. I think there's like a stack of tires topiary over by Luigi's. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident on that one. A bell. Okay. So so Disneyland, I'm like, I don't think there's 23 just with Small World. There's more that we're not realizing. I think the Mickey flower thing in the front, is that a topiary or is that not a topiary?
I wouldn't count that as a topiary.
I wouldn't either, but I'm wondering if it's counted here.
Maybe.
But, so anyways, we're still researching. I just wanted to let everyone know we did not forget about this. We're just trying to, it's going to take a little bit more digging because the stat came from Disney. So it's not like, so I trust that the stat is correct, but they just didn't list out where all the locations are. So.
Where did you think
on the other side of Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters?
Nope. It's empty.
Then, nope, I don't know. I feel like I've seen it. I don't know where, though.
Well, that's the cornucopia again. Apparently, the most popular time to take a photo of this part of Disneyland is during the holiday season when there is cornucopias everywhere. Oh, well. Cool. Well, if weekly tiers know and can figure it out for us, let us know.
We need some boots on the ground. First of all, we need to figure out how many topiaries there are for sure in Small World and work out from there.
So if somebody wants to do that,
Small World definitely has, I think, the highest concentration.
Well, this has a ton of topiaries.
But like,
are they the animal specific ones?
Yeah, they're animals. It's not just.
Oh,
because that's what I was wondering. Because there's the square trees by the castle. I'm like, does that count? But yeah, part of me is wondering if I don't know.
Okay. Well, anyway, let us know, Vern. What can you give us this week?
You're ready for this week's trip into Trivia Land?
Yes.
That sounds nice. Trip into Trivia Land.
I do like that, yeah.
All right. Trip to Trivia Town? Ooh. Alliteration.
Oh my goodness, we're having a whole thing.
All right. Question number 1 from listener Kavei S. According to the sign in Big Thunder Mountain's queue, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is a high-speed roller coaster type ride through a blank setting of the old blank that includes sharp turns and sudden drops and stops.
Wild.
Through the Old West, I think. Where do you say Wild West?
Hang on.
What were the blanks again?
Yeah. Through a blank setting of the old blank that includes sharp turns.
Wild and mining town? Or mines?
Through a wild setting of the old mining town?
Haunted setting of the old mining town.
Mining town?
No. Mines.
Mines?
Haunted mines.
I'll say haunted. Well, yeah, west. Why not?
Haunted west.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So we've got a haunted setting of the Old West and a haunted setting of the old mines.
Yeah, yes.
All right, final answers.
Sure.
I thought we were saying that one of our answers was old. I'm like, nope. We definitely had more description than old.
Nope, I got you. All right. All right, your second question, still on the subject of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, from listener Stacia S. How many trains run in Big Thunder Mountain, and what are their names?
We've had this before.
Boy.
It's an oldie but a goodie. I always love this one.
I think there's 7
Because we had like IR something and...
Okay, I'm going to go with 7 trains. I don't know their names.
I think there's 7. And they have like some lettering to them where it's like, I am brave.
Yeah.
Something
I
like
am
that.
scared. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, they're all kind of along that kind of line.
I can't think of any, like, for sure off the top
Can
of my
we just talk about how theme-riddled this attraction is? That we have gotten so many trivia questions from the cues and the signs.
And the thing that's crazy is we had Alex on and talked all about Big Thunder Mountain with Alex, a former cast member from Big Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure we discussed these things, but I still don't remember what they are. Especially like the train names and how many trains.
Oh, when he starts reading the names when he gives us the answer, I'm going to be like, yep, that was them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I.B. Hardy.
Be our guest. No, just kidding. Be our
Anyway,
guest.
that's all I got for you, Vern.
That'd be good though. A B, letter R.
Yes, but the attraction was from way before that was
I
the
know,
thing.
but that would be good.
All right.
So we've got 7 trains and possibly I Am Brave and I.B. Hardy and I Don't Know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a good trade name too. I don't know.
Okay, final answers.
Sure.
All righty. Your third regular round question from listener Chrissy A. What club outside of Disneyland has a display donated by Yale Gracie showing the Pepper's Ghost effect that is used in Disneyland?
Wow.
It was used to show Walt how the effect would work.
And
there's a club
outside.
It is a club, a famous, well-known club that is not located on Disney property. Yale Gracie donated a display to the club that showcases the Pepper's Ghost effect.
I think it's...
This particular display is the one that was used to demonstrate the effect to Walt.
That's cool.
I think it's the Magic Castle.
Yeah. I'll pepper ghost that. Yep.
The Magic
It's some
Castle?
type of like magic group, right? Like
the Magic Castle? Yeah.
Magic Castle. How do you know about this?
Because all cool people... No, I'm just kidding.
Neil Patrick Harris performs there.
Does he?
Yeah. He's big into magic.
It's kind of interwoven with Disney stuff too.
Oh, okay.
The Magic Castle.
Is that why it's...
And it's just like a really cool, like, first of all, cool building, cool history, not too far away. Like it's close, it's in it's in Southern California as well.
So you could you can have a membership to this, and that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
like
cool.
This is one of the places that I would love. It's in Hollywood. This is like a place that is on my like bucket list. I feel like it's like my Disney adjacent bucket list.
Sure.
There's overlap with the Magic Castle.
That's cool.
All right. Final answer, Magic Castle. All right. And your fourth and final regular round question from listener Donna S. In the attraction Autopia, there's a spaceman and a bird. What are their names and what are they doing?
Well, the spaceman is
Osimo.
Because it's a Honda thing, and I don't remember what the Honda bird was.
Birdie.
The only thing I can think of is Chubby, but that's...
Yeah, wrong bird.
Wrong bird. Do you remember what the bird's name was?
I don't. I could draw the bird. That's about as good as it gets. Not helpful, I know.
My goodness. Yeah, I don't have anything for the bird.
I feel like it's got to be a unique name. It's not.
Like,
like my random guess of Birdie.
I think that's our final answer, Vern. Just Osimo and nothing for the bird.
Birdie.
Birdie.
Right.
We're gonna go with
Birdie. Okay.
Okay. And do you remember what they're doing?
They're doing multiple things. Oh, well, they're like camping at one point.
Yeah, I think they're like camping or something at one point. The bird's like up in a tree somewhere, and Osimo's like doing
they're
something.
they're in multiple spots though.
Yeah.
All right, so Asimo and Birdie, and they're doing
camping
stuff with camping
and other stuff.
And other stuff. Final answers.
I think so.
All right. And your bonus question from listener Abby B. On what attraction can you find the oldest living tree in Disneyland?
Oh, it's the Storybook Land Canal.
Oh, yeah, because it's one of the little...
bonsai
trees. I concur with that.
Final answer?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Little bonsai-looking tree on Storybook Land. All right. Well, listeners, how do you think they did? How did you do listening at home? Stick around until after the discussion and we can all find out together.
Ready to pop the question and take advantage of 30% off? The jewelers at BlueNile.com have got sparkle down to a science with beautiful lab-grown diamonds worthy of your most brilliant moments. Their lab-grown diamonds are independently graded and guaranteed identical to natural diamonds. And they're ready to ship to your door. Go to BlueNile.com to get 30% off select lab-grown diamonds. That's BlueNile.com for 30% off lab-grown diamonds. BlueNile.com.
Well, this week for our discussion topic, we are continuing our conversation with former cast member Tanya and her friend Amber.
So, your time as a guest relations person, what were some of the different roles that you got to do within that role?
Well, they had so many divisions, and then they only had, it was really nice because back in the day, it was kind of a small, tight-knit group. It was smaller than most departments, and they relied on each other so much. We would interact more like, I used to say it was kind of like a sorority with guys in it too, but it felt more like a sorority. And we even took annual pictures, and we would take advantage of the canoe races and, that's a lot of work, canoeing around the rivers of America, especially when you're trying to beat somebody else. That is hard. So, but, I was all in for all of that. And so we did you had to do general information lines. When you first hire into guest relations back in that day, before you could even wear the costume, you would dress professionally and you'd come in and you'd answer the information lines until you learned your spiel. So that would give everybody incentive to learn that thing. And they wanted you to learn it word for word. And it was like, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 pages. I don't know. It was the tour, the general guided tour through the whole park, beginning to end. And so you were going to have to then perform your spiel for somebody in the office and just go through it. And then you had to basically go and do it with somebody on tour in between all of that. So in between learning your spiel, you could don your costume, tour guide only. And you'd get your pin, and the pin was specific, tour guide. And then you would have, I think you had to wait to wear your pin, though, until you passed your first tour. So you'd have the tour go out, and they had somebody else with you, one or two others with you. And I guess they gave me a reasonable size group. I don't remember, but, I was always checking to the back to make sure I didn't lose anybody. And so I guided tours, but in addition to that, you had to support City Hall. That was down the line. You also had to support Lost and Found. You also had to be at what they called, it was either Card Corner or Carefree Corner. I think it changed, names while I was there. You had to be there. And that was a hard place to be at grad night also, because these are places that are generally full of people, but not for grad night. And, you're up late, much later than you're used to being. So that was kind of hard. But, I was there. I also got to deal with Toontown, the opening of Toontown. I was there. So I got to don the Garanimals. Do you remember when Toontown opened, you had these bright blue pants and this striped shirt, looked kind of like Juicy Fruit gum? If that makes any sense. You remember with the zebra? So, Juicy Fruit. Which is it? Juicy Stripe.
Yeah, yep. I know what you're talking about. Yep. I know what you're talking about. Whatever that gum is.
And so we called them Garanimals. They were so soft and comfortable, but, I felt like I was out of costume. But
so you were still a guest relations cast member
I was
doing
a guest
all that?
relations cast member. Well, they loaned you out. So when I was in City Hall, I'd wear the same thing pretty much you'd wear if you were in Lost and Found for a shift. You'd wear the long black skirt and the white blouse and the little red tie. And you looked like almost like a school marm from back in the day, you know, from appropriate attire for the time of the location that you were at. So so I couldn't go there I could go there in plaid. I could be at the opening to Toontown in plaid, but generally they put you in the Garanimals if you're going to be over there for any significant time, more than to break somebody. So that was interesting. So I did the Garanimals. I did that. I did those other locations. Oh, the thing I loved. Okay. So, you know, this is before they had reservations. They didn't know necessarily how many tours they'd be sending out, whether it was VIP, they sometimes know better, but even those sometimes would come in the door the day of. So you had to staff and they had to plan, assuming and based on prior dates, prior years in terms of attendance records. And they're looking at what's estimated based on, you know, all of that information. And then somebody's trying to schedule a staff guest relations, make sure we didn't run out. So invariably the phones would be full. So, okay, somebody's doing that. Maybe they're newer, less senior tour guides coming in. And then they didn't necessarily have any place to place you. Or you had a later tour and they were like, okay, we don't want everybody sitting around. They'd send you out to the main gate to get everybody situated. I love that. Oh my goodness. Welcome to the happiest place on earth. I'm going to get them situated and I'm going to make sure they get their ticket media and they get in the gate and that they're coming in with the right attitude. Because sometimes there were kids out there who were grumpy and crying and no, we can't have that. But most of the kids were very excited.
So with the tours, what kind of tours were you leading? Like, were they things like we see today that's like the Main Street tour, or what were the tours that you were doing?
So they were very specific. They had a general public tour, which would be on certain prescribed attractions. Which it gave you a full review of the park. So it would start off with the Disneyland Railroad. You'd go full circle and you'd explain to your tour a little bit here and there. You'd explain about the Lily Bell and every land. You'd give them kind of a preview. And you'd explain that we're going to come back and we're going to visit this area next, you know, or shortly. And so after that, you would get off the train, you'd walk down Main Street, and you'd basically take that same left. So maybe that's why I take a left all the time.
Just programmed.
Yeah, I am. So there were certain attractions that were set and they were meant to be acceptable to the general public. You know, something like Space Mountain wouldn't be appropriate for everybody. So
sure,
that would be a VIP tour. Woohoo! Then, you know, you go wherever they want to go. You go free range. And that's a whole different beast, so to speak. And that's a whole different structure. But in addition to that, sometimes they'd have docent tours of the apartment, which is really a glorified VIP tour. Maybe it would be shorter if it was focused on the apartment, or maybe it would be somebody who's coming in, maybe it's a legend and they're doing something specific and they're just in for a minute and you're not really touring them. You're just accompanying them and you're not, you know. So those were the tours they had back in the day. And it was pretty straightforward once you got the hang of it. I mean, you know, here's the place you love and here are some people to show off the best place in the world.
And, they need those kind of tours again.
I was just thinking I would totally go on a tour that did that.
The only thing that they've got now is VIP tours. Otherwise, tour-wise, they're themed. So, like, you can go on, like, a horticulture tour, but they just take you around and talk about the horticulture around the park. Or, like, during the holidays, there's, like, a holiday decor one. They're much more specialized and themed. It's not, like, the general tours that you were giving, which would be great, especially for, like, vacationers who have not been there before to kind of, like you said, here's the lay of the land and kind of help you understand.
Exactly. That's what it was. I thought they still had those in addition to the other.
They don't.
No, unfortunately.
You got to pay the big bucks for a VIP guide.
Oh, so sad. So sad. Yeah, I always felt guilty about people paying. I knew they paid a lot of money. And then if they're keeping you over, I was happy to stay, but I just felt guilty. I mean, some people knew they had money like that. So it wasn't an issue for them. And I was like, okay. And the other people, I was like, gosh, I hope this isn't, breaking their bank. I feel so bad. So yeah, you got to experience a lot of things. Sometimes you go on errands, again, probably overstaffed. And so, hey, can you go and, go over to the offices backstage or whatever have you? And woohoo, I love that. Or you go, I don't know, into the kitchens.
So when they were like overstaffed, they were just like, go do something somewhere else and be busy.
They kind of have to do that. So because these spaces are finite, Carefree Corner, Card Corner, whatever, that space is where they're doing the personalization right now on the ornament.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's small. It's 2 people. 2 people and you're done. You can't really put anybody else over there. So now, okay, that's 2 more out of here. But behind City Hall, as you know, there is an opening that goes to a structure to the left and a structure to the right. If you're facing City Hall, to the left is a little extension of the City Hall building and then the tour gardens. At that time, there was space just for a small office of phone lines and like a phone bank. And, that's where the phones were, information lines. And then another office just behind and below that for usually the person who was the guest relations cast member who was the lead for that shift. And so that was kind of it, and then restrooms. And then if you wanted to sit on, say, the horse-drawn carriages while they were back there, and take a break or something, but you didn't really have a lot of spaces to go. And the office space would fill up. And they didn't want to send us back across the street without, basically some purpose. And so they had to kind of assign us out, parse us out. And so they usually they pick you up for a tour. So you might go and give somebody a 15-minute break and then come back and, get ready for your tour and take your tour. And then you'd be out and about. So they didn't have to worry about you then. But at first, everybody's checking in and the tours are trying to step off. And yeah, they had to stagger those. So they're like, please, can you go to the main gate for 30 minutes? Sure. No problem. I love that.
So how big of groups or small of groups would these tours be typically? I'm sure it probably just depended on how many people signed up for the day, but kind of like what was the average size?
No, I mean, it really varied. If you're talking like a general public tour, probably 10 to 20. I don't think they give you more than 20 without giving you another tour guide to go with.
That's a good ratio though.
Yeah. So, also then sometimes you're training the other tour guide, right? So they might be at the back of the group to make sure you don't lose anybody, but they're also kind of paying attention, listening, and trying to form their own way of presenting the park. And so, yeah, you do that, or you pair up if everybody in there is fully trained and what have you. They just kind of parse us out as it best met their needs. If somebody came in for a VIP tour and they knew you were a fan, it depends on the lead. Sometimes they give you that person. I think that was kind of it. I mean, you get to go sometimes to the hotel. And then mind you, remember, I was still in the college program. I was in the college program through undergrad. And at that point, by the time I was in guest relations, I was in school. I have to really think about when I went to, guest relations in terms of my years in school. And I don't want to necessarily, I graduated high school. Should I say this? This just dates me.
It's totally up to you.
You started at Totally Mini in 1986. So.
Okay. So I graduated high school that year. So I was in 86. So then, so 86 to 90 is undergrad, and then 90 to 93 is law school. So I had to think those things through, right? So through that time, I was doing all of the college program offerings that I could make. I loved it. I mean, they took us to the studios and they would explain all of this history to us. And this is all fodder. This is information I needed for being a great guest relations hostess anyway. So I was soaking it up from every angle. It didn't matter. And I'm telling you, you could have put me through traditions again. I could go through traditions and teach it every day, and I would just love it. I from what I hear, it's actually been shortened, and I just think that's a sadness, but that's a whole nother subject. So I did all of these roles, and I visited all of these places, and I know we did some of the training over at the hotel. They exposed us to, hospitality, events and things of that nature. And then I feel like I just went all over the property. And sometimes it was related to being the guest relations tour guide or hostess. And then sometimes it was related to the college program. But I got the most amazing exposure. And then I finished law school and I signed on full time. My parents were horrified.
Like,
I was going to say, you just went through law school.
You just finished law school, and what do? You were at Disneyland.
Yeah, and that's my dad. He was like, "Wait, what?
What just happened?"
No. He said, "I put you through law school, and you were playing with Mickey Mouse." And I was like, "No, Dad. It's happy life. It's all about life and what makes you happy, and this feeds me." And anyway, I had to push back against my parents for a long time. I pushed. Ultimately, I lost that battle.
Well, Disney needs lawyers. Did you ever consider being a lawyer for Disney?
I totally did. In fact, that same year, I sent an inquiry about internships, and they just didn't have anything. And I was like, and the truth is, that wasn't my passion.
Yeah.
Okay. We have found my passion, and it was dance and Disney. And so, no. And my parents always told me dance was a hobby. It's not a career. You can't, make a living off of that. So don't go there. So Disney, people had jobs at Disney.
And when you worked there, I think that it was more common, too, for people to make working at the park a career more so than it is nowadays, where there are still people that have been there for a long time. But I feel like people starting mid-90s, early 2000s to now, it's not really a career for them. So, you were kind of in that period where it could, and especially in something like guest relations and tours, that seems like a place that's great for that. Because my understanding, and it's probably different than when you were there, but my understanding with guest relations and especially like VIP tour guides and stuff is they're not like normal cast members. They're kind of in a different kind of way that they're handled as employees or cast members. So, they're not like somebody. Yeah.
There was no union back then for guest relations. There was also no union for parades. I know that they have unions now, and I'm sure that's a very good thing. But back then, no. And actually, I think that was something that made me feel more comfortable because I didn't feel like I was going to be violating any rules. Having gone through law school, I was very aware of the rules. And so I didn't want to violate any rules. If you're working extra hours, I didn't want to have to worry about it. Sometimes your shifts in late, especially if you end up with a tour that stays until the end, or something crazy like that. And you started early, you in late, and maybe you have another schedule for the next day with an early start.
Yeah.
That happens, But all of that to say, I went all over, I did everything. And then when I signed on full-time permanent, Martha Blanding called me into her office. I didn't know what to do. So you understand, I guess people can't see me, but I'm African-American. I'm a Black woman. Martha is the one who just was honored. You guys were there.
She just became a Disney legend.
Yeah.
I know. You were sitting right behind us, too,
we were.
Right?
Yes, we were.
What
are the odds of that?
No, that was crazy. I tried to wave at you guys a couple of times, but it was dizzying.
yes, it was. It was very steep.
I was like, okay. And then honestly, I'd get all into the ceremony and forget that anybody was around me. It was just me.
So tell us about Martha. Her story is
amazing.
She's well deserving of her Disney legend status. We'll just summarize it like that. But yeah, so what was that like to be called into her office?
Well, I didn't know what was happening. I didn't understand. So I'm going into the offices, and this is somebody's office, and I didn't know who it was who was in there at the time. I mean, she wasn't in the office, and so I'm asked to sit down, and I still didn't get it. You think you know everything at that age. You don't know anything. And I freely admit I didn't have a clue. And so I was just so all about me and being there and happy to be there and trying to spread happiness and joy everywhere I went, and, be the epitome of the perfect hostess and, what have you. So she called me and she tried to kind of explain who she was gently and then kind of talk to me about my career goals. Well, my goal was to stay there. But, she was trying to understand and trying to get me to think, a little broader, bigger picture. And she was like, yeah, you could stay here, but you could do a lot of things. And, so she was trying to mentor me. And now, mind you, all along, my parents were push, go, and okay. So it didn't take like it should have. And I wanted it to so bad. But in hindsight, I just feel like I owe her so much. Just the fact that she took the time with me and she always told me I could come in, she was always available and she was amazing. Oh my goodness. And so, when she was honored, I was just blowing kisses from the balcony. I was like, woohoo, and rooting for her like crazy and tears and, all of that. So
I turned to Teresa when she got honored and I said, she must have been a really amazing person because she was the only person that had the Dapper Dans, the Disneyland band, and all of these, like Mickey came out to, and Mickey and Minnie came out to introduce the fact that she was being made a legend. And I was like, she must be, I didn't know much about her before the ceremony. She obviously must have been a very amazing individual to be honored in such a way by having such iconic parts of the park there to make this happen for her.
Well, like I said, she reached out to me. I was just, I was across the way, and who even knew that people knew who I was, so that was crazy. That was crazy. Yeah, but she took the time to do that. Just amazing. So somebody who does that for me, I can't imagine what she did for people that she came in contact with on a regular or daily basis. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
They loved her. She is amazing. Yes.
And her sister, who, they both worked at, according to her sister, they both worked together, we're being honored. Her story was great.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So fantastic. They have a lot of pictures I don't know what it looks like back there now. And I'm sure it's changed. But back in the day when I was there, they had a lot of pictures. I told you we took annual pictures and we'd line up in costume and it looked like like a little school class or something, like a little private school. And we'd take them either in front of the castle or whatever have you for a special anniversary year, there'd be a cake or whatever. So the pictures were all over the walls there. So she was in the pictures. I was like, wait, you're in those pictures. And it just like, as it trickled down, as the reality of my situation and who I was talking to hit me. Yeah. It was just amazing.
Incredible. So tell us about your final time and your final days then at the park. Were you still in guest relations, still doing tours, or had you shifted?
No, I was tours? There. I was in love, and I wanted to stay, but my parents just, they prevailed upon me hard. And then, my contemporaries were now taking the bar and passing the bar, and so eventually they prevailed. I had to let it go. Okay, so this sounds really bad for being a law school graduate. I had this discussion, this final push, right, to try to stay. Now, my parents were divorced at the time. You have to understand, my dad was living in a different city at this point. Mm-hmm. So I was living with my mother. And at that point, instead of Palos Verdes, we were living in Laguna Niguel with Nellie Gale Ranch. Okay. So I love that. I was a little closer in. I didn't have to drive so far and just happy and comfortable. And, being moms and being as supportive as she was, she didn't push me to go as much, but my dad was pushing hard. finally I was like, if I'm going to have to be an adult and take the bar and get on with my life, then I need to move out. He said, okay.
Oh no.
You're like, that was my
He called your bluff. Called your bluff.
Just...
Who does that? What parent wants your child? Not well thought out. Yeah, my mom was like, no, she wouldn't let me stay. But my dad, no, tough love. Okay. I mean, it wasn't really any problem for him because I wasn't living with him anyway. But so that was the deal. I got to get my own apartment and move out. And so ultimately I moved into an apartment building downtown LA, which was beautiful. It was a historic building and it had this great view of Angel's Flight, and it was just amazing. And but I had to shed my tears and turn in my costume and say goodbye. And it was so sad.
So now Disney has just become your happy escape place instead of your 9 to 5.
It took a little while. It was hard for me to go back even with friends because most of them were still there, as cast members. Yeah. And so it was kind of hard. It was really a sad moment to let it go, really. Yeah. And I mean, and even after that argument with my dad, I held on as long as I could, but it just got to be, yeah. So when I finally let it go, no, it was hard. And so then it was hard to go and not know that I had that in my pocket, so to speak. It wasn't my place. Mm-hmm. And so I had to wait a while. But if I hadn't gone, I wouldn't have met my husband.
Oh, look at that. Disney changed your life in so many ways.
I know. And then he had a 10-year-old son. Guess what? We get to go to Disneyland.
Yep, there's another excuse for Disneyland.
Passes. And then I became a full-on, geek. And I was pushing that kid around. I mean, he will tell you to this day, he's grown, but he will tell you to this day, I just dragged him around. I was like, let's go.
Let's go. Come on.
So, yeah, he was just kind of my excuse to be there then.
Amazing.
I mean, a kid, it's a great excuse to go to Disneyland because, there was that thing a few years ago, which kind of has fallen by the wayside, but people were always like, all these childless millennials at Disneyland. So at least you had a child with you to go enjoy the parks.
Drag that kid around. Oh my gosh. Yeah. At one point, he would get tired on me and I was like, come on. And I tell his dad, I was like, what's wrong with your kid? Let's go.
There's no napping at Disneyland.
No.
Too funny. Too funny. Well, Tanya, is there anything that we didn't already cover or go over that you wanted to share about your days as a cast member?
It's interesting. It stays with me. And I meet people all the time in all areas who are former cast members, who have their own story or who have similar stories. I met at one location, I ended up meeting someone who was a former guest relations hostess. And she came in literally as I was leaving. Like she remembered me. I didn't remember her. And then a friend of Mickey and, a skipper, a Jungle Cruise skipper. And what's interesting was I shared with them, I still, as old as it is, and I have moved many things off of my resume. Disneyland is still there. Yeah. And I proudly keep it. And the college program, the time in parades, and the time as in guest relations, and the time that was just the time of my life. It was truly the greatest opportunity of my life. And I'll tell you, I think about it, I'm like one of those people, don't be surprised if you see me back there one day. You'd be like, what did you do? I am so thankful that I'm in a position to now play.
Yeah.
And I can afford it because a lot of people can't. And I can just go and we can hang and we have Disney buddies and what have you. In fact, we just Sunday met a former cast member from Walt Disney World. Yeah. We were just, I'm kind of, you can tell, right? I'm the super gregarious, super social, high end. And then Amber is very quiet, but let me tell you, when she gets her energy about Disney or Taylor Swift, you can't stop. So to that end, I tell you, I treasure those memories. And I think about it one day. I don't sleep. One day you'll be like, oh, you're back. What are you doing? And I don't know if I try to go back to guest relations. I mean, that was the best opportunity I ever had. And I love that job. And that role was amazing. But they say you can't go home. And I can look at it and see it's different. And, and obviously, I mean, I left just before DCA opened. So that's a whole nother kettle of fish in and of itself. And the department just looks different. And I mean, and I loved my costume. Oh my goodness. It was so cute back in the day. So I love the tour guide costume. I did. It was the knee socks and the plaid skirt and the red vest and the riding hat and the crop. And I loved it. I was all in. So I know everybody who listens to me who was there, they're probably like, she's just way too geeked out. And I had no idea. I tried to mask it, but I was so in love with that. The hostess costume, I liked it in that it looked like a kind of pulled together, like almost like an airline stewardess. Mm-hmm. But back in the day, it was a straight skirt. Also, back in the day, Matterhorn, which seemed like everybody wanted to go on, was a ride where you got on a log, like you straddled this log and then leaned back. You had to shimmy the skirt up, and now you had to wear nylons. Had to wear them. Well, nylons, most women know, have a reinforced section halfway up your thigh. Mm-hmm. So you're shimmying up the skirt and you're thinking, okay, if I see that reinforced, that's too high, and so then you're trying to get into that log, just, or that flume.
The sled, right. Yep.
Yeah, and so it was just, that was
the
something.
Things you remember, right?
Yeah, I do remember shimmying up. And but beyond that, I just love it. I still love it. And the changes, there are things I miss. I miss America Sings.
Yeah.
I miss the People Mover. I mean, I miss these things, right? And what I really miss, it isn't even that. You know what I miss is all the energy that used to be in Tomorrowland.
Yes.
The Skyway and the boats were down there, and then there was so much going on, and then the rockets were up high, and you'd see the People Mover, and then it would go into the Adventures from Inner Space building, or it would go over to the theater, and you knew where they were going, and it was so amazing. And all these things were happening, all this kinetic energy, and I just loved that. I wish. My wish for that place is that somehow they could just bring all that energy back. It doesn't have to be those attractions, although I would be happy with them. Hey, I always wanted to see the House of the Future, Monsanto House of the Future. I never saw it. I was too young for that. But I don't know. I just loved it. So, what I'd say is just, it's with me. I'm thankful beyond belief. It's definitely one of the highlights of my life. I mean, I got to be a debutante. I loved that, big dress. Now, I was really happy with that. And I got to be a song leader, and I got to marry, the man I love. And so I've had some amazing things in my life, milestones, but that certainly sits among the highest.
Incredible.
Well, to kind of allude to something you were saying before about going back, if you could go back and work at Disneyland, what would you do? This is our last question for you. Sky's the limit. It doesn't even have to be a real job. It could just be anything. What would you do if you could go back now? It could be something made up, something real. What would you want to do?
Do you have time for a 3-part answer?
Go for it.
Okay. One, I'd go back to guest relations or parades just because I had such a fantastic time. Mm-hmm. 2, I'd like to form be part of a committee that went around and actually improved the guest experience. So when you're in guest relations, you're interacting with a finite number of people, and you make their day better, hopefully, and it's wonderful. You're part of the magic. And same with you're an attractions hostess, or if you're at Club 33, I mean, whatever it is, your role is, right? Balloons. Oh my goodness, the kids that get those balloons. Can you see that? I mean, how can you, and being in the balloon room, I haven't been in there. I've seen pictures. That's got to be amazing. So with all of that, you're just touching finite number of people. But if I could be part of a group that goes around truly ups the experience, makes it an ultra high experience for every guest. So maybe it's, hey, the bathrooms are running out of soap and paper towels at 11 a.m. Maybe we need more towel holders or, those extra soap dispensers, whatever it is, to solve those kind of things to help each team. I know each department has that already, but somebody who could look at the whole picture, right? Mm-hmm. And I guess that's, I don't know, I guess the CEO, but not, I'm not saying I would be that. I'm saying that in theory, if there were a team of people who that was their whole focus, was to go in there to identify the things that could up the experience for every guest across the board, the hotels, every place, every part of the Disneyland resort. Maybe it's just more frequent shuttles over from a Good Neighbor hotel, whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. And then help the team that's responsible for that to implement that improvement and then move on to the next, or, something like that. That would be an amazing job, right? Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you like to do that?
Yeah.
You just make Disney the monument of like everybody's, the pinnacle of everybody's experience. It would just be, it's already the gold standard, but it would really be.
I want to be. One second. I want to say I want to be the light bulb person, because I want my job just to go fix all the burnout light bulbs. Like, that could be a full-time job. I would guarantee that there are not any burnout light bulbs, because it drives me crazy when there's burnout light bulbs. Anyway, what was your third one?
No, but before we get to the third one, you mentioned that one of the things I learned as a guest relations hostess, the light bulbs back in the day were replaced when they reached 80% of their lifetime expectancy. That was so that you would avoid any burnt out bulbs on Main Street. I know things are different, times are different, and the demands on people are different. So they are what they are. I've seen my fair share of burnt out bulbs too, and maybe there isn't one person now devoted to just cleaning the brass each night on the carousel. I don't know if there still is. And I remember seeing somebody just touching up the paint on the railing, on Main Street. Like, those are the attention to details. I'm a highly visual person, and I'm fueled by that. But the thing that I would do, and this is something that I think Amber's going to understand, I would do the fairy tale weddings. Yeah, that's that. The reason it tracks is I got married in 2000. It was a double ceremony with my sister and myself. My sister was finishing up law school. She was in one city. Her now husband was in medical school, finishing up in a different city, and then trying to get them housing or whatever so he could do residency and stuff. And then my now husband and I were here, and I got to take over and plan everything. And, that was the deal. And so I did, and I fell in love with it. I love the attention to detail. I love the contracts. I love the problem solving. I love all those things, and all those skills are things that you employ in guest relations. So as I think about it, I still would like guest relations, but fairy tale weddings is where it's at, because that I do it now, and I've been doing it for at least like 14, 15 years at our church. I do it on the side. I do it for people, friends and family, friends of family, friends of friends. I do it in backyards. I've done it my own was at the Fairmont in Santa Monica. I don't even know if it's a Fairmont hotel anymore, but I loved it. But we had a friend who wanted help, and she ended up at the Four Seasons in Newport Beach. Oh, no problem. I'll help you. No problem. We've done the Diamond Bar Center and countless backyards and homes and other churches and all kinds of venues. So I do that anyway. And so, yes, that would put me at Disney, put me doing something I love, touching all the pretty, but also touching the contracts, which I like personally. I actually do that now. So I love. So that's where I am. I'm transactional, and I'm detail, and I'm in love with Disney. I'm the ultimate geek. And so now I'm outed fully.
Now I do have to ask, Amber, what would you do at Disneyland?
So I've thought about this a little bit, and I would probably be a friend of a princess.
Oh,
mainly because I really want to wear the princess. Tanya and I have this in common. We both love pretty dresses and girly things. And so
dresses when they saw us.
At D23? Not the day I said hi to them, but I think one of the days we saw, because they were right behind us.
Oh yeah. Well, we are, and I'm full on right now. I'm vibing. I've been vibing Tiana. Obviously, I love Tiana and give her all credit. And I have a Tiana T-shirt, and I often wear Tiana gear. I have a Tiana skirt. I haven't even donned that in the park yet. But my point is, I'm all Team Tiana. But I have to say, as a child, I loved Cinderella, and so that was something. It seems like right now I'm vibing Cinderella right now lately, and so I did Cinderella. Amber is big into Rapunzel. We both did matching dresses, but hers was in the purple hues, and I Disney bounded in the light blue. And, I was all in.
Yep.
So we had fun. I guess we didn't really see you officially like, hi, how are you? Because I probably would have shown you my shoes. I was so proud of them. They were iridescent. Tennis shoes, but iridescent.
Ooh.
So I was
Very fun.
As close as I could get to a glass slipper. Oh, even for my wedding, I had clear shoes. I went to Stuart Weitzman, and my mom was like, "You're gonna wear these once." I was like, "No. That's gotta have to happen. That's gonna have to happen." So I had clear shoes, Cinderella shoes for my wedding.
If you like the dresses, Teresa got to see this a little bit. I got to see it demoed a little bit more. But there was a lady at D23 who was dressed as Cinderella, or I don't remember what her dress was, but she said that when she went out in the sun, her dress would change colors.
It was wild. It was it was UV reactive.
She had a UV flashlight because we were inside, and she like
Hunger Games.
She like showed it to the and she said that she was working on, I don't remember what character she said now, but it was a black dress, and when she'd go out in the sun, it would turn red. Is what she was working on, and I was like, that would be amazing. So if you like that, you would love to see that probably.
I would. I'd probably be trying to get one.
Yeah, she said that she like found the dye online or something, and like she dyed it herself and all that. It was crazy. It looked really cool. Teresa had gone to use the restroom, and I was waiting for her, and she was just standing there. She just looked like a princess, and so I was just like, whatever. There's like 100 princesses here, and she was talking to this little girl, and she's like, "Look at this!" And she takes out this flashlight, and she like. And it was a different color, and I was like, "What?" And then she was explaining it, and I was like, "That's so cool."
Oh, that is.
And her like little bag she was carrying was like a basket with apples in it or something. She was
dressed as Aurora.
That's what it was.
So so the dress went from pink to blue. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
that's so cool.
Perfect. That's perfect.
So cool.
Wow. See, some people are so talented. Wow.
A lot of talent and creativity, especially for the cosplay community.
Yes.
yes. And so we're soft Disney bounders. That's about it. But we enjoy. We have fun. We're all excited about D20. Not D23. About Dapper Day.
Oh,
well, we're all excited about D23, but it's a ways away. Dapper Day's around the corner, and so we're kind of thinking about that now. We're like, woohoo! What are we going to do? So,
there you go. Perfect. It's all about having fun, right?
Yes.
Well, Tanya, thank you so much. And Amber, thank you too for spending some time with us this evening. We really enjoyed hearing about your time at the parks as a cast member, as a parade performer, and then also in guest relations as a tour guide. And some of the college program too. I almost forgot that part too. But yeah, just it sounds like you had like a wild ride, and it was just tons and tons of fun. I mean, just listening to you reminisce about it, it's like you were so high energy about it still.
I know,
like
I'm so
you're still excited about it.
I am. Isn't that crazy after all these years? Really,
that means it was very special, right?
It was. That's why I say one day.
She'll retire from her full-time gig and then go work at Disney.
Eventually, like, Mom and Dad can't tell me I can't anymore. I'm here.
More like one day I'll just be like, life's too short. Let's go.
That too.
Well, if you enjoy listening to the show, please consider rating and reviewing the show on your podcast app. It helps other Disney fans become weekly tiers and part of the community.
Welcome back to Trivia Land, Shell. My name Raymond, and I hope them answers are bigger and better than this here back porch I got attached to me. Don't you know Evangeline and I wish y'all the best of luck.
Welcome back to Trivia Land, where we are going to find out all of the answers to tonight's questions and find out how Tag and Teresa did and how you did listening at home.
I'm pretty sure that we're finding out the answers because I don't think we did as good as we could have.
You did well.
Okay, well.
Yeah, no, I'm happy-ish.
Okay.
No, this was a decent night. I'm
excited.
I had to look down on my notepad with your answers, but no, this was a good night. You've had worse nights, definitely.
That's fun.
That's
fun.
That's something.
Yes. So, all right, let's find out, shall we?
Yes.
Your first question, submitted by listener Kavei S. According to the sign in Big Thunder Mountain Q, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is a high-speed roller coaster type ride through a blank setting of the old blank that includes sharp turns and sudden drops and stops. Tag thinks it's a roller coaster ride through a haunted setting of the Old West. Teresa thinks it's a haunted setting of the old mines. The correct answer that I was looking for is a roller coaster type ride through a gold rush setting of the Old Southwest.
We've failed. However, I like I mean, I guess they can't give away that it's like the mine trains are haunted.
Well, that's true.
So, makes sense. Makes sense.
Dang.
Your second regular round question from listener Stacia S. How many trains run in Big Thunder Mountain, and what are their names? Both of you saying that there are 7 trains. Teresa thinks one is named I don't know. Tag says one is...
And be our guest.
Oh, yes, and be our guest. Tag says there's one called I Am Brave.
I'm pretty sure.
And another I Be Hearty.
Something like that.
The correct answer that I was looking for is a total of 6 trains.
Darn.
With names of I Am Brave, I Be Hearty.
Look at that.
I Am Fearless. You Are Courageous. You Are Daring. And You Be Bold.
Oh. Missed opportunity with Be Our Guest.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yep. No, maybe they'll change one in the future. You never know.
Maybe.
Your third regular round question from listener Chrissy A. What club outside of Disneyland has a display donated by Yale Gracie showing the Pepper's Ghost effect used in Disneyland?
I'm pretty confident.
This display was used to show Walt how the effect would work. Teresa immediately answered Magic Castle, and Tag added a wing to that castle. See what I did there? Yeah.
Something, yeah.
That was something I did there. The correct answer that I was looking for is the Magic Castle.
Woo-hoo!
So how did you find out about the Magic Castle?
Me?
Yes.
Multiple things.
I literally have never heard of it.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, Peter and Kitra go to the They go and they visit the Magic Castle. Other folks that we know go and visit the Magic Castle. It's got this huge, like, rich history. It's kind of a fascinating place. It was like a members only, pretty private, exclusive club. Now it's people outside of the membership.
So it's the first place you saw it on Ordinary Adventures?
No, I don't remember where I saw it originally. How I had heard of it originally.
I vaguely recall we watched some thing that was Neil Patrick Harris performing there.
Could have been.
That's the only thing that I know about it is Neil Patrick Harris has done stuff there, and I think you and I watched that together.
Could have been. Yeah, could have been. I don't remember like how I learned about it originally.
Yeah.
But
well, yeah. I've never heard of it, so I was just curious where you might have heard of it. Okay, anyway. Cool. Today I learned.
There you go.
And now you know. And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe.
And your fourth and final regular round question from listener Donna S. In the attraction Autopia in Disneyland, there is a spaceman and a bird. Do you know their names and what they are doing? Tag knew that the spaceman is named Asimo or Asimo or Asimo. ASIMO. I'm pretty sure we were all going for that. Excellent. And Teresa also knew that. And Teresa guessed that the bird was named Birdie.
So original.
And both of you said that they were doing stuff like camping and being around in their car and having adventures.
Yeah.
The correct answer that I was looking for is they're doing stuff, being with their Honda vehicle, embarking on adventures from a campground and doing stuff. And the spaceman's name is Asimo, however we're pronouncing that. And the bird's name is Bird.
Oh my gosh.
I was close.
I feel like you got to give her that because like
Birdie's its nickname.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Oh no.
Wow, I'm proud of.
I feel like the line, well, there'll be no living with her after this. She's gonna be like, remember that time?
No.
Yes. And your bonus question tonight from listener Abby B. On what attraction can you find the oldest living tree in Disneyland? I love that it's specifically the oldest living tree.
Yeah, because the other one's the petrified tree.
Could be the petrified tree, yes. So, very well-written question. Both of you saying that it's the small, bonsai-looking tree in Storybook Land Canal Boats. The correct answer that I was looking for is Storybook Land Canal Boats.
Woo!
And it's not a bonsai, even though it looks like one. It is called a mugo pine.
Oh.
And that's why that's that specific type of pine just only grows about 2 feet tall. So it
That's
wasn't
so cool. The world is so wondrous that all of these things exist.
It wasn't bonsai'd to that size. It's just how it grows.
It's just that size.
Yep.
You know, I can't even keep regular anything alive, but I always thought it'd be kind of fun to have like a little bonsai tree. You know, you do little clippings to like.
There you go.
There's like a whole art to it, but yeah.
Oh,
there is.
Oh, that's super cool. Well, listeners, how do you feel about how Tag and Teresa did? How do you feel about how you did listening at home? Do you have some great question that you'd really love to hear us ask them on the air sometime? If you've got that perfect question that you'd like to hear asked, please feel free to send that in to dlweekly.net/trivia.
Well, we will be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
And a special thank you to Sidel for editing the podcast.
Please remain seated until the podcast comes to a complete stop and the doors have opened. Then collect your belongings, watch your head, and step carefully from the episode. On behalf of all of our crew, thanks for traveling with us, and we hope you have a happy and memorable visit here at DL Weekly.
Bingo.
All right, Phil, we're recording now, so it's live. Go ahead. Pick on me the way that you want to.
Did I say that? I wouldn't say that to my son. Man, I mean, come on, man.
Just go. This isn't CBS.
All right, be quiet for a few seconds. Why would people want to listen to the Sims Complete podcast? Well, a couple things. One, if you like to see sons pick on their father, this might be the place. If you want to see a place where the father just kicks the out of his son, this would be the place. What do you like about it, Matt?
Ditto. Father-son dynamic duo talking about the game of football that we love and share and appreciate together. And, you know, hey, it's an extension of what we did, right? Growing up, I was able to watch my father play football, then obviously watch him as a broadcaster. And then he taught me the game of football and share the wisdom that he learned throughout his playing career. And, you know, hey, sometimes we're full of it and sometimes we actually know a thing or two.
Well, we do a lot of research. At least I do. You're a little spotty, but you know, you hang in there. It's fun. I love doing this and it's been awesome.
Sims Complete. Check us out wherever your podcasts are available on the Believe Network. Appreciate it. See ya.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.